Good afternoon. My name is Brad Micklin. I'm the managing member and lead attorney for the Micklin Law Group, which is a law firm concentrated in men's and fathers' rights in divorce, custody, and family law issues, with offices in Nutley, Montclair, New Jersey. I had held this out as my daily tip, but I actually turned it kind of into a how-to video, which means it's going to be just a little longer than my daily tip, which I normally keep to like a minute or two just to give you something real quick. But today's video is, oh, by the way, today is October 23rd, 2019. We're in New Jersey. I always have to say that for those that watch many of my videos. By the way, thank you. But you get tired of hearing the same things. But I always have to say, if you're watching this on any other day or any other time, you got to make sure that it still applies. And that if you're out of the state of New Jersey, that it applies in your jurisdiction. But most of my videos, including this one, is going to be a little more generic. So it's not really state law based, but just kind of experience based. So today is how to deal with vacation and holiday parenting time. I thought it was apropos since the holidays are around the corner. There's just a few things that you need to be aware of and to consider when you're doing a parenting schedule for holidays and vacations and holidays and vacations. Because a lot of people will take these as traditional or standard and give you just like an alternating schedule, and they don't really take the time to put in thought to how they might be able to be changed and sort of benefit everybody. So that's what I always look to. So the first thing you want to look to are just your basic holidays and vacation schedule issues, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, your birthdays, the children's birthdays, school vacations, summer break, things like that. Set days, set amounts of time, they repeat every year. And you want to see where those days fall, how many school vacations they have. For instance, some have 4, some have 2, some are for weeks, some around holidays. So you want to get these schedules in advance and really start to look at not only how many days or how many vacations that you want to have, but how much time you want the other parent to have, how much time you care to be away from children, and whether there's going to be makeup times for those, what are usually extended parenting time, holiday and vacation days. So once you look at those main blocks of time, you also want to address whether or not there's going to be makeup time, because a lot of these will fall on the days that would have otherwise been your parenting time. And sometimes they fall in such a way that the children may be with the other parent for, let's say, a week for school break, and the weekend before and the weekend after somehow ended up being their time also. So now they have like a week and a half or almost sometimes close to 2 weeks that you're not going to see the children. You need to build in a sort of catch-all that if that something like that should happen, that there's going to be makeup time, or that you're not going to go 2 weeks without any parenting time, for instance. That's important when it comes to like these basic extended vacations like school and summertime. Next, you want to look at your holiday schedules, and you have to determine a few things with holidays. First is how you're going to share them. Most holidays get alternated, meaning you might have Thanksgiving in odd years and the other parent has Thanksgiving in even years. But there's a lot of holidays like Christmas, New Year's, traditional holidays that have a 2-day component to it. So there's Christmas Eve, there's Christmas Day. Some people like to alternate the overnight, and one person gets the whole year for, let's say, Christmas, and then the next year the other parent gets the whole year, which doesn't always work well for parents, because then you go the whole holiday 1 year without having the children or child. Some will break up a holiday like that, where one person gets 1 day, like, and I keep going back to Christmas Eve just because it's a very popular, highly contested holiday. One parent gets Christmas Eve 1 year and the other parent gets Christmas Day, and then they alternate those. Some go as far as dividing the day. So they may have, Christmas Eve until 10 o'clock and then they drop off the kids, or they may have Christmas morning until 11:30 and then they pick up the children in the middle of the day and bring them back. Now, I'm not a big fan of that because I think it puts everybody in their car for most of the holiday, but some people like it that way. It ensures that you get some Thanksgiving every year, you get some Christmas Eve every year, as opposed to alternating and going maybe an entire year without the holiday. In my experience, like I said, it doesn't work well, but it does for some people. Keep it in mind. And then you also want to find out if you're going to be sharing the same holidays. Most parents do, but there are often mixed families that don't. There's also certain parents that have or develop religious and personal practices afterwards that differ. and you may be able to arrange a more advantageous parenting time vacation schedule or holiday schedules because the other parent's not celebrating those holidays, and you can work that into your schedule so that you get the days that are not important. Another thing with holidays, your traditional holidays at least, is there's a current trend away from religious holidays being any more significant than any other holiday. I know a lot of families that are Jewish that fight over Christmas parenting time for the children because it's more about the memories and the experience and their friends and the stories than it is about religion. So be prepared to have to discuss all potential religious holidays, even for those that aren't shared by both parents. Lastly, when it comes to holidays, you want to look at what I call the Monday holidays. July 4th, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Martin Luther King days, days that your schools may be closed. These are holidays for parenting time purposes. There's a couple ways to address them. One is to say that the parent that has the weekend before continues to have that Monday, which generally I think is going to be the best depending on your parenting schedule. Or you can alternate it like you would the other holidays we discussed, where one has even years, one has odd years. You can, again, divide the day so that everybody shares a little bit of the day, but again, I don't find that to be the most convenient. But it will fall into the same kind of schedules, or you can look to the same kind of schedules you would have otherwise had for your religious holidays or your more traditional holidays. And then the last thing you want to consider when you're talking about holidays and parenting times and vacations, and I sort of touched on it in the beginning, and that is if you want to ensure that holidays override parenting time. For instance, Mother's Day and Father's Day will always override the other parent who had the weekend, even if it's not their day, because those are significant days. Christmas and more traditional and more important holidays will often override. But then there are things like the Monday holidays that may not. There's going to be other holidays that might be big on certain families, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, things like this you can build in. And you want to determine whether these will or will not override the normally scheduled parenting time. That's really only significant when you have a complicated parenting time, like a 50-50 custody or some kind of alternating week off and week on. If you have traditional, where it's like an alternating weekends, overnights, it's usually more important to indicate if the holidays are going to override or not. If you have a greater equal sharing arrangement, holidays usually fall inside of that parenting schedule and is easy to arrange. So those are the 3 or 4 things I think you need to consider when you're looking at holiday and vacation parenting time. They are significant. They may not seem so now, but things change as the children grow older, as your relationship with the other parent separates and you two move on. You might have new people, new families, new children that get involved, and then new holidays develop. So you need to thoroughly think through the holiday schedule you have, as well as what changes you may have in the future, so that you might want to try to build that in also to your holiday schedule. So I hope that helps you. If it does, please give a like and share this video. It helps me to have other people see and share the information. If you have a question or a comment, please leave it for whatever medium that you're watching this on. There's always a way to send me a message. I will always address any comments and questions. If there's any suggestions that you have, you can also message me those. And lastly, subscribe to my channel so that you'll get updates and notifications when I go on live, which I try to do every day for my daily tips and at least once a week for my how-to videos like this. So with that, I'm going to thank you for tuning in. I'm going to sign off, and I should be on tomorrow, probably 4 o'clock, but I haven't planned it yet. Thank you.